Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig, one of the finest female auteurs of our time, starts off with a Kubrick-esque opening. The opening sequence is very reminiscent of 2001: A Space Odyssey, where in the original we had these primitive hominins. Here we have little girls playing with their dolls, the only dolls that they have. Those are the baby dolls. And they're nursing the baby dolls, they're ironing their clothes, cooking for them, until lo and behold, we have Mattel's monolith appear, shining bright and tall Barbie, showing these little girls that they could do so much more and be so much more. Barbie is an idea. Barbie is aspirational. Barbie is a role model. Until the utopia of Barbie land and all these fancy Barbie houses that you made as kids does not reflect in the real world. And the idea of Barbie, the very concept, is unfit. This movie is super self-aware in what it's trying to tell as a story. In the real world, along with expectations and aspirations, come pain, anxiety, fear of death, and depression. This can again be related to something that Kubrick said, that as kids we have this untarnished sense of wonder and excitement at everything we see, but then as we grow older and we learn about death and decay, and we see death and decay everywhere all around us, we lose that excitement. This movie explores how women are held up to such impossible standards, of course, symbols of purity and perfection. They're supposed to be ideal. However, Barbie herself, the character played by Margot Robbie, chooses to be a woman, not an idea. She chooses to be a complex human being with a conflicting nature, complex emotions that often lead to an existential crisis. Ruth Marianne Handler, the creator of Barbie, tells her she doesn't even need her permission to undergo that transformation, because women do not need permission or approval to become more than just an adjective. Because human beings aren't just meant to be a singular adjective, and this is why the movie is so special, because it is self-aware. It is self-critical also. The movie explores how Barbie and all the Barbies and all the Kens have their own perceived identities. They are adjectives, until Barbie, the Margot Robbie character, goes to the real world and she figures out that what she perceived as her self-image, her perfections or imperfections, were not always entirely true. Both Barbie and Ken have epiphanies when they react in the real world, and they figure out that they're being looked at slightly differently, treated slightly differently. And this is also the part where the film explores patriarchy, the indoctrination, the cult of patriarchy, if you will, where women find their worth in the shadow of a man, and men measure their worth by the validation they receive from a woman. And the extent to which they go to achieve that validation, turning them to be hyper-masculine, where their image, and it's always the image that is larger than the person they are or they could ever be. Another very self-aware thing that this movie does is putting Will Ferrell, a man, as the CEO of Mattel, the unnamed CEO of Mattel, who at one point in the film he remembers when Mattel had a female CEO, a woman CEO. For a movie that is produced by Mattel, it has a rant on capitalism and consumerism, one of the wokest we have seen. So what is Mattel trying to tell us from investing in a movie that is so critical of themselves? Mattel is trying to show us that, like human beings, ideas evolve. And over the years, Mattel has evolved from just having this blonde, tight waist, long legs Barbie to all these other Barbies who have, if you look at the 2015 Cosmopolitan article, 14 facial sculpts, 18 eye colors, 22 hairstyles, 23 hair colors. The reason I take an article from 2015 is because this article reflects one of the key points in the movie, that is flat feet. There is a whole metaphor regarding flat feet in the film. Is a reference to how only in 2015 we got adjustable ankles for Barbie dolls, so that now they don't need to wear heels all the time. Now they can just wear comfy flat shoes, flat slippers. The comfy flats is a metaphor for a sense of normalcy, to not hold women to impossible standards. Hence, at the end, Gloria's character tells Will Ferrell, the CEO of Barbie, to create an ordinary Barbie. Just a simple, ordinary Barbie. Don't hold her for your larger-than-life ideals. She could be a working mother, or just a mother, or a doctor, or a painter. It does not matter, because she is who she is. And just like that, Ken is who Ken is. The movie brilliantly explores the fragility of men's egos, their insecurities, and also has hashtag all men personified as Alan. Beautiful thing about the movie is that it is so meta. The movie has a freeze frame where the voiceover literally says Margot Robbie. There is another meta moment where the narrator is speaking mid-song and the background singer goes, "Hey, I'm not finished singing." The movie has so many references. Like, if you love cinema, you'll love this movie because it has 2001, of course, but it has a Godfather reference that you'd be interested in. There's a Wizard of Oz reference sequence. There is a Singing in the Rain. It's all, I mean, it's a movie that you watch several times and you still get something out of it. I believe this movie will be taught for years and generations to come. Will be seen as an example in gender studies. One of my favorite references in the movie is of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where we are looking at these men riding on invisible horses. That was interesting. Stanley Kubrick, in that very interview about Death and Decay, further stated that that excitement that we are born with does fade away, but we can build something that's far more sustaining and enduring. And however vast the darkness, we must supply our own light. Barbie.